Afternoon, evening, with you on. Welcome to NerdTube, and this is our tribute show to the late Jason Dixie Comic Beasley, a friend of ours who passed earlier today at the age of 45, 2 days after his birthday, a NerdTube contributor as well, and a friend of ours who I personally have known for maybe 15 years, I guess, on and off, of course. Um, we're going to be paying tribute to him, and we might talk about other things a little bit later on. But we are, for now, going to be paying tribute to our friend, and we have with us as well. Thank you, Dixie, also known as D Jose. How you doing, my friend?
Uh, this absolutely sucks. My heart is just broken for his wife and his daughter that they lost. She lost her husband and the daughter lost a father. It's never easy going through something like this, but we're gonna miss him a lot. And
Yeah,
this one hurts.
yeah, and sorry, I apologize. Shredder as well. How you doing,
Uh,
mate?
I'm doing as well as could be. I suppose again, I echo exactly what Jose said. This absolutely fucking sucks. Let's be perfectly blunt. It's always sad when we lose a member of the community, especially somebody who's been around the block as long as Dixie Comics was. And 45 is no age to go. And this is one of those. It's one of those that really does fucking hurt. Let's put it bluntly. And much like everybody else on NerdTube, my heart goes out to his wife and his daughter. I can't imagine what they're going through at this time.
Yeah, I can't imagine either. Daniel Vance, yeah, welcome to the stream. EBW, a newcomer, welcome to the stream.
Hello.
And Facebook user who I will hopefully find out at some point. Welcome to the stream as well. Yeah, we just started. He for me was somebody who I kind of not necessarily knew as a content creator, but somebody who knew content creators within the atheist YouTube community, because that's how I got to know a lot of people back in the day when we were all making uh YouTube video content. Oh, hello there, Raven. I apologize. Thank you for joining us. Um, and like Raven herself, she encouraged me to make videos, and I did. And then through her, I got to know a plethora of different people within this community, and I felt a lot better for it. Dixie Comic being one of them, and he was, in my opinion, one of the greatest troublemakers and trolls within our community. He was a very talented guy, and he went through a lot of shit in his life, by the way. And I want people to know that, because when I did get to uh, reconnect to him again after the community kind of split apart, I brought him into NerdTube because we had like other things that we enjoyed outside of just being atheists. We loved like movies, video games, television shows, and stuff like that. We reviewed these things here on NerdTube, and I wanted him to get involved. He pretty much wanted to get involved in that. Then I got to know his wife Leah as well, and it gave him a little bit more purpose again, which I was really happy to offer him that. And then I found out about him having two strokes and actually dying. He actually died, and he got resurrected, so to speak. He came back to life. And those sort of moments, when they happen to you as a person, is quite miraculous, but it does have a massive effect and toll on your mindset, on your brain. And it did with Dixie, because unfortunately for him, he was not the same Dixie I knew back in the day. He was a little bit off the mark, a little bit slower, and I was happy that he was still with us, but he never felt the same person. And when I found out what happened to him recently with him having his third stroke, I was deeply worried, because the guy, he's been very lucky so far, but unfortunately his luck ran out. And my heart goes out to his wife. I'm sorry, I'm tangenting here. I'm not the best when it comes to this type of this talk. I do apologize. If somebody wants to take the reins from me a little bit, that'll be great. Shredder.
Yeah, much like yourself, it was largely through the YouTube atheist community that I first ever encountered Dixie, and it wasn't so much through YouTube. It was more back in the day when some of us would do live streaming on Blog TV back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And Dixie was, let's be honest, Dixie was quite frankly, he was a troll, he was a troublemaker, but it was all good natured and it was all, just for a laugh on his part. It was never malicious or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it was always a good laugh at the end of the day. And he was somebody that, again, much like a lot of the community, when I stopped making YouTube videos for quite a while, I just completely disconnected from so many in that community. And it was through NerdTube that we reconnected and, obviously discovered that we both shared a mutual love of things like professional wrestling.
Yeah, I was shocked that you did, by the way.
Yeah. We had some interesting discussions on that on stream. We've, again, he told me the story about how he'd been legally declared dead twice after 2 strokes. He had been involved in the Church of Satan at one point.
Yeah, he's part of the Church of Satan. He's a self-proclaimed Satanist. He loved bragging about it, and I love it, especially because our group was quite mixed with some Christians.
I was going to say, didn't he say he often used to say at times that I never knew whether or not to take him seriously, but he used to say at times that he was considered an icon within the Satanist church because he had died twice.
Yeah,
I could picture like him saying that and him having a big ass smile on his face.
Oh yeah,
immediately after he said it.
Just saying it as a complete fucking rib.
Yeah.
Well, like the other Jason Eastman, his ex-girlfriend was part of our group, and he would say it in front of her, and she's deeply religious, and I was like, oh, this is fucking brilliant. Yeah, he was also a furry. Remember that? I'm not sure if you remember that too.
I don't ever remember him being a furry, but again, nothing would surprise me. Again, he was such a goofy character, but it was such a fun way. I mean, you couldn't help but smile after you'd interacted with them. I mean, even when I reconnected with the guy on NerdTube, as you said, look, he was not the same person he was all those years ago on Blog TV, and obviously we know that's because of the 2 strokes. But holy shit, was the guy fun?
Yeah,
and that's something that I miss from those days of the community. It's something that I'm glad that we, to a degree, have here on NerdTube. And again, I really can't imagine what his wife and kid will be going through, because again, we just know him from our brief interactions online. They lived with a guy, lucky bastards to a degree, but they lived with a guy and he's not going to be around anymore.
Yeah.
And, Leah has told the story in the group chat about how she knew instantly this was somebody that she wanted to spend the rest of her life with. And for him to be taken at such a young age is an absolute fucking tragedy.
Yeah. Go ahead and take the reins here. Life sucks. It fucking sucks. I mean, the fact that he went through 2 strokes and was legally declared dead twice, only to have to come back. My heart breaks for Leia and his daughter the most. Leia, she said within an hour of talking to the guy, she wanted to be with him for the rest of her life, and that is rare. And I'm going to give some advice to everybody out here. Everybody, if you got you a good one, you hold on to that person. I don't care what it is that you go through, you hold on to your people. That's what you need to do in life. You need to hold on to the ones that have been holding on to you. And you don't take any of this shit for granted, because life is fucking short and life is fucking hard. And we all got to make it through day by day. And we just got to live our best lives as possible as we can.
And if I could just briefly expand on that. Another thing is you hear people all the time, say, oh, fucking internet friendships, they don't really mean anything. Well, here's the 3 of us.
I mean, I consider I consider you guys like my online best friends. I really do. Y'all are the reason I do this shit.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the 3 of us talking about the guy, remembering him, choking up a bit. There's more of us on their tube, who are really gonna fucking miss the guy. Dev Shell, I know, is going to be doing a stream later on in tribute to him. That this one fucking hurts, and if internet friendships don't mean anything, well, explain what's happening now and what's going to be happening later, no doubt, when Dev Shell does her stream.
Yeah.
Just going to get through some comments here. This Hazim, welcome to the stream. Just entered the space. Welcome. And Raven's also joining us too, under the moniker of Dev Shell too. I've known Dixie for a very long time. Yeah, I believe through you I got to know Dixie myself. None of us has said he was a good person. Take it too soon. He was just chatting with. Yeah, we were just chatting with him the other day.
Yeah, it goes to show. It goes to show that life is literally that fast.
He just turned 45 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So he had a goofy ass smile, Raven, for sure.
Yep.
And his furry stuff. I have to admit, he introduced me to furry because I had no idea. And he was never being very straight with me about furriness, and I had no idea that it was some sort of kinky. It is kinky, isn't it? It's not just about people wanting to dress up as fucking animals. There's
a lot of fetish involved in it. Yeah,
exactly, and stuff like that. And honestly, I was truly gobsmacked at the time. And I mean, nowadays, nothing fucking really amazes me anymore. And there's all types of shit, But back then, I was like, I was still trying to understand the world, I guess. I miss him a lot. Cousin Cheeto says, "Welcome to the stream." He was a ham and a wings to have hyperdrives. Welcome, Master Killer, as well, who is on Twitch. Now, look, one of the things that for me will always mark Dixie down as one of the greatest trolls and infiltrators of all time was him outing a guy called Dawa Films for wanting to dox another guy called Thunderfoot. Now I know most of the community have no love for either of these people, but two wrongs don't make two bad guys necessarily don't make my phrase is all mixed up here, but doing wrong to another bad person doesn't necessarily make you a good person. And what Dixie was doing, not Dixie, what this guy called Dawa Films was doing was trying to dox another guy called Thunderfoot, and Dixie infiltrated Dawa Films, pretended to be on his side, was speaking to him in a way that he was going to help Dawa Films dox Thunderfoot, but all Dixie ended up doing was releasing the footage of him, like the written conversation they had, to the rest of the YouTube community, the atheist community. And Dawa Films, who I've always thought was a wanker, looked like a bigger wanker at the time. And he kind of was like the token Muslim within the atheist YouTube community. And that really pissed me off because we shouldn't be having fucking token dickheads like that. And I'm glad he was ousted, and I'm glad Dixie did that. He really put him to the fire, and that was fantastic bit of trolling by him. For me, the most memorable thing he did on YouTube, and this was at a time when these sorts of outings wasn't really done like it is today. Like shit like Dixie did is a penny to a pound today. There's so much drama and stuff like that, but back then that was quite remarkable what he did. I fucking loved it. It was great stuff. I'm not sure if you know what I'm on about, Shred.
Oh, I'm well aware of that because I was at the center of that controversy when it happened, especially when Thunderfoot was actually doxxed by somebody. Because I was the one that found the video. Somebody had attached it to one of Coughlin's videos. Because back in the day when you used to be able to put videos in as replies. Remember that little feature. So somebody had put a video and attached it to one of Coughlin's, which had outed Thunderfoot, his name, where he taught, etc. And I didn't know if it was genuine. I contacted one person who I did know, just said, "Look, just tell me, is this real or not?" And if they verified, yeah, look, it's real. And my instant response was I contacted Coughlin to say, somebody's docs Thunderfoot potentially on your channel in a reply, get it that you might want to get it off before his fans go after you, because obviously they had a bit of a thing going at the time. So yeah, I was at the center of that. I got contacted by DPR Jones. He contacted me and accused me of giving the information to Dawa Films, which I didn't. But you know, I do remember Dixie releasing the information to, the chat log, I should say, the Skype chat log that he had with Dawa Films, where Dawa was looking for the information. So yeah, I'm fully aware of what happened at the time. I agreed with Dixie in releasing the chat log in the end. At the time, obviously, I thought I did have a slight bone of contention in it. I did know Dawa was looking for that information because he wanted to contact the university that Thunderfoot worked at.
Getting fired.
Wasn't so much to get him. The way he told it to me wasn't so much to get him fired, but he wanted to see. He wanted to know if there was going to be any kind of response from the university or the Muslim groups at that university in particular, because if you remember, Thunderfoot's rhetoric was starting to mirror that of the likes of the British National Party.
Pat Condell,
yeah. So I mean, I've talking about how all the Muslims would suffer a Holocaust, things like that.
He wasn't really ripping apart the religion. He was more
he was literally going after Muslims. But yeah,
generalizing.
Like I said, I was right at the center of that when it happened. So yeah, I fully remember what Dixie did when there. And again, I ultimately agreed with him, at least when it came to releasing that chat log. It was very, very dumb, I think, of Dawa to go looking for the docs.
Okay, sorry guys, hello Christine P, by the way. We have Leia with us, Dixie's wife. Hello Leia, how you doing, sweetheart?
We're thinking of you. Our hearts are with you.
I'm a train wreck.
Yeah.
Can't imagine what you're going through.
We're here for you, Leia.
We're here for you if you need to talk.
Yeah. I might fall apart on camera, but yeah. So the third stroke sent him. The third stroke sent him to the hospital, and he was there for a few days. But it was last night he had a fourth stroke, and that's what killed his brain.
Lord.
The other three are what's called ischemic strokes, which basically means that the blood flow is cut off from the brain. But the fourth one was a hemorrhagic stroke, so he had a brain bleed, and it crushed his brain basically.
Oh my goodness!
And I freely admit that it's like they told me there is a procedure that we could do that would make it so that his body could sustain itself, but it always results in deficits. He's not going to come back to the baseline that he was at. And
so he'd be a vegetable, basically, is what you'd be saying.
Or he'd be very much not there anymore, even if he was capable of anything like speech or whatnot. So, yeah. Jeez. So Jason, after he had his heart attack, he told me if it ever comes down to a point where they can't get me to at least the baseline that I was at before I went home from the heart attack, let me go.
Yeah.
So I'm respecting his wishes.
And it's understandable to be going through something like that, because I recently just filled out my 5 wishes, and I put that in there that I said, if something was to happen to me, do not resuscitate me, do not bring me back, let me go if something similar was to happen.
Yeah. So I am respecting his wishes. Technically, until 2 p.m. or roughly tomorrow, his body is still alive because he's on the donor program and they have to line all of that up. But And the donor program was very, very kind. They took my contact info and they said that if he has, if it's part of, you know, it's like anything that could be donated, if it's compatible with anybody and, you know, could help them, we are going to let you know. You know, it's just like his, you know, his lungs went to, you know, help, you know, whoever, and, you know, his kidneys went to help whoever. But they did confirm what I suspected, that his heart definitely could not be donated, along with, like, you know, his arteries and stuff. But anything else, I also gave them my blessing, you know, to, you know, it's just like anything else that could be used for medical research, please do that, and everything else I'm going to have cremated.
I'm hoping, you know, people, you know, whatever does get donated, with regard to Dixie's organs, you know, parts of him will still live on, and other people will help other people. He, you know, even within death, he's become a hero and saved some lives right now, Leia. And parts of him will live on within those people, and that's the only sort of silver lining I can take from this. And you're so strong, you really are. You're so strong right now. I wish I could be there for you in person.
Just send me some videos of your smart ass birds. I'll be fine.
They're causing me a pain in the ass right now. But
I can see them across
the ones doing the zoomies as we speak right now. Like, hey, I gotta go back and forth.
That's actually what's kind of. That's actually what's kind of. Oh yeah, sorry.
No, please, finish off what you're saying.
I was gonna say, is like, right now it's kind of heartbreaking because my cats keep yowling at me like, "Where's the other human?" And you know.
Yeah, they know. They know. Cats have that intuition.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
They do. But, yeah.
Christine I think it's Christine Pamplin, by the way. I hope I haven't butchered your surname. It's been a while since I've seen you. Dixie was an internet troll, but he was always a gentleman to me. Excuse me. He was hilarious, and I will miss him so much.
That's the overarching comment that I've been hearing, is some variation of that. It's just like, God, he was so witty, and, you know, it's like he could be such a troll, but, you know, he was just he had a heart of gold. He was so nice.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoyed, like, you know, it was just to have him in a different aspect, from knowing him within the atheist community, but then knowing him through this sort of like this nerd community where we were able to get together and review stuff. You know, we reviewed the movie Dune. You know, we were seeing that together. We're seeing that together.
That.
Yeah, and sorry, pain in the ass. And we did some other reviews as well. I mean, we did a fair few and stuff. And I actually watched some of his Twitch videos as well, because he's a gamer, and he's on Twitch all the time streaming his videos. You know, he's playing games where you're like a serial killer, and you're grabbing people and you're putting them on hooks, and you're trying to, you know, these are multiplayer games. Yep. Dead by Daylight, but the way he's playing it, he's some sort of farmer. You know what I mean? He's like farming these teenagers to kill them and stuff like that. And you know, the way he's talking, he goes, "Oh, here you go, pal. I've got you right now. Here you go. I'm gonna stick you over there. You know, I'll see you later. I'm just gonna get one of your friends." You know, it's such a humorous way of doing these things. He loved the macabre, and he loved the macabre in the most comical way. You know, it was. He made me laugh, and it was really good. You know, when we reconnected and got you guys into NerdTube, it was really good just to do other things. And because you know, like when it came to the atheist community, sometimes it got just too serious and people weren't having fun.
Yeah.
And when we went down the NerdTube route, we tried to have fun, and that's what we were doing and stuff like that. And I was just happy, just, you know, even though it was only for a few years, just to briefly reconnect with him again was great. And you know, and with yourself as well. And I hope whatever we could do for you while we were together was fun. Sorry, I could babble on sometimes. I end up digging myself a hole.
No,
Christine also says you and Jason are so amazing that you would put yourselves on the donor list. You'll be saving someone's life. I can't thank you enough. Yeah, I agree. Her nephew is blind, and my nephew is blind, and donations like this go towards curing, reversing things like blindness. Daniel Vance says, "Death ends a life, not a relationship. You missed Dixie." Thank you, Daniel Vance.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I think that would be a great way to honor Dixie's legacy is for everybody watching this and everybody involved in NerdTube to maybe register as organ donors.
Yep.
You know,
I've been on that list for years.
The kind of thing that he's doing now, you know, even in death, he's saving people's lives.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
You mentioned obviously Dixie being a gamer. I assume at some point he's played the Metal Gear Solid series, so maybe
well, I mean, not since like PlayStation 2, but yeah,
yeah,
you know,
but
he loves Snake Eater.
Well, part of me suspects that part of me suspects there is a very, very slim chance, and much like Metal Gear Solid 2, when Liquid Snake took over Revolver Ocelot by having his arm attached to him, that Dixie is somehow going to come back.
He'll come back reincarnated, talking shit somehow.
Or he'll come back through one of these organ donations, or it'll be like that episode of The Simpsons where Homer gets Snake's hair.
Oh God.
Yep.
I mean, his hairline was receding, so that's probably not going to happen. But you know, it's like,
well, I mean, even just through his organ donations. I mean, Dixie's the kind
but
of
if anyone gets if anyone
do
gets his eyes, I'm expecting to have someone like randomly walk up to me and just exclaim "sexy."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I became an organ donor as well. Now, considering I'm fat as fuck, I'm hoping that things like my heart will be accepted if once they get through all the fucking all the layers of grease.
They went through very early this morning. They went through the list of things that they can feasibly remove from a person, and it went all the way down to tissue. So even if like I said, Dixie's heart couldn't go to anybody because it was too damaged, but like his bone marrow is good, his skin is good, his it's like some of his veins and arteries weren't completely wrecked, so that's good. It's like he's O negative. They can take his blood. They're doing his kidneys, his just like they're doing his kidneys, they're doing his liver. His pancreas is out, but because diabetes, but they're they just did the biopsy to make sure that his lungs were okay, and it seems like that's going to fly as well. So a lot of him is going to go out there into the world.
Yeah,
because he's a hero, and he's gonna save a lot of lives, and he's gonna live on. Christine says everyone's signed the back of your driver's license saying you're a donor. But also tell your family, because even after you pass, your family can override the signature. So please reinforce.
I'm telling you,
that is true.
If you guys have like a 5-wish thing, fill that shit out. Like if there's like a program called 5 Wishes, I'm serious. I want to raise awareness for that. Fill that shit out and get everything documented that you need to have in order.
I would also say, because the hospital staff was actually rather surprised that we had the conversation that we did, and multiple times. It's not an easy talk to have. But have it. No one wants to think about it.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Discuss final wishes.
Yeah, you got to. There's it's a morbid thing. Nobody likes to think about this kind of stuff, but you got to have these kind of conversations with friends and family members. You absolutely have to.
And Jason and I, we didn't have to have tact around each other. That was just the nature of the relationship. We were able to be very, very forthright with each other. So that was probably one of the things that helped us have that conversation. But, when he got home after his heart attack, I'm just like, hon, I have a nasty feeling that the next time and that something like this is going to happen, whether it's your heart or your brain, it's going to be the last time. So whatever happens, what do you want me to do? You know, and he's like, if I can get back to, if the doctors can be 70% sure that I can get back to the state that I'm at now, then, you know, yes, you know, try to go through everything. If they can't, if they have any doubt in their minds, then no, let me go.
Yeah.
You know, so I was able to say right off the bat, if his heart stops, you know, when they brought him in for the third stroke, and I literally got home from work just as he was having it.
Oh.
And I was, you know, so within minutes, I was able to like call EMS, and, you know, I scrawled out on an index card, you know, it's just like, this is what he has. This is what you need to look for. This is what it looks like to me. This is like his baseline, you know, and you know, I didn't, you know, I gave him my number, you know, and my name and then his name, because the last time he was there was a mishap where they thought that I had said his last name was Beasley instead of Beasley. And when I called the hospital to ask after him, they're like, we have no one here by that name. So I'm just like, my immediate thought was, oh my fucking God, did he die? You know, on the way over there, and I have no way of knowing, you know, and this was when COVID was going on. And I'm like, I can't get over there. They aren't allowing visitors. And, you know, and if he's COVID positive, then I am too, which means I definitely can't go anywhere. It's like, so yeah, it was so bad. But, you know, it was like finally one of the operators was just like, wait. Let me try something. And she was like, did you say his name was Beasley or Beasley? I'm like, his name's Beasley. And it's like, wait, it's like,
they misspelled it. Yeah.
We misheard it, and we misspelled it. You know, she's apologizing profusely because she's like, oh my God, I am so sorry, you know, and you know, it was cleared up, but it was like, oh my God. So I said that, and I wasn't expecting to do it today, but I think I can with minimal tears. I want to share the how we met story.
Please.
So, as at least some of you know, we met when we were in the military. But I met one of his friends before I met Jason. And the friend, you know, immediately was just like, I want to hit on this girl. So he was immediately flirty, but, you know, he's just like, hey, I haven't seen you around the barracks. I'm just like, that's because I'm in my room playing video games. He's like a female Marine who's also a gamer. It's like, my God, I found a unicorn. He's like, what system do you have? And this was right when the PlayStation 2 came out. So I told him I had a PlayStation 2, and our friend just started like basically salivating. And he's like, I have a large screen TV in my room, and if you bring it up, I will give you unlimited access to my computer. And I'm like, okay. It's just like, do you like Diablo 2? I'm just like, yes. And then, you know, it's like, after we had like been released for the evening, because we were like field daying the barracks, we were cleaning it for the next day's inspection. After everybody was released, I immediately go to my room, grab my PlayStation, like bring it up to his room. And you know, everything gets hooked up, and I'm rotting my brain on Diablo 2, and he's like checking out all the graphics and everything on the PlayStation, and he's just like, oh my God, this is awesome. And then he just happens to mention, okay, so we have dinner plans tomorrow. We're going to go out you know, he and the friend and his roommate were like, we're going to go out to dinner tomorrow, and we're going to invite a friend. You know, would you like to come with us? Oh yeah, sure. And so I get, you know, it's like, okay, meet us at 6, you know, come up to the barracks room at 6. I'm like, okay. So, you know, after work, I go up to the barracks, and the friend that they had invited was Jason. And it doesn't make sense to me, but at the same time, the two friends who lived in this barracks room were very passionate about their gym regimen. So I don't know why they told Jason and I to be there at 6 when they planned on going to the gym afterwards. So they're like, okay, we'll be back in a couple of hours. We got to go to the gym. And Jason and I are just like, what the fuck? I thought we were going to dinner. It's like, yeah, but we got to do our thing. It's just like, okay. So they leave. And they don't come back until like 8 p.m. And the whole time, it's like, I'm sitting there, I'm playing Diablo 2. And he's playing, I think it was like Soldier of Fortune or something like that. It was a PlayStation 1 game, but, because cross-compatibility, he was playing on the PlayStation 2. And he looks over and he's watching me play. He pauses his game and he looks over and he's just like, are those birds flying around your head? Because I was playing a druid. It's like, are those birds flying around your head? I'm just like, yeah. And he's just like, what do they do? And right then, a whole bunch of little goblins run up to me and, it's just like, oh, they attack demons nearby. It's just like, they peck out the eyes of my enemies. And and he's just like, and they immediately start attacking. It's just like, oh, cool. I'm just like, yeah, you want to see something else? I turn into a werewolf. And he's like, oh, you can transform. I'm just like, yeah. I'm just like, what are you playing? It's like Soldier of Fortune. I'm like, what are you doing? And right then he steps on a landmine. It's just like, I'm dying. And that was the moment I knew he was the one.
Yep. As I said earlier, when you got you a good one, you hold on to. Yeah.
Within an hour of meeting him, I knew that he was the one I wanted to share my life with.
Yeah. And as I said earlier, when you got you a good one, you hold on to that person.
And I did from November 2nd, 2001 to now.
Yep.
Sure, we didn't get married officially until February 3rd, 2020. Yeah, like right before the pandemic hit. But yeah,
well, I can say Dixie was very lucky to have you as well. I mean, you both lucked out, with each other. For you to stand by him for all the shit that he's gone through. He was very lucky to have you, Leia. And Christine also adds, please try not to think of it as morbid, but life affirming. Leia, you have so much strength. I totally agree.
Yeah.
I mean, even before his passing, Leia, like the strength you've shown to have to deal with what he's been going through. I left some comments, by the way, in the tube regarding organ donation for UK and USA.
Yeah.
The first link is UK registers. You can see nhs.uk. So if you're in that kingdom.
And there's something I also want to mention too.
Yeah.
Get one of these. Everybody needs to get one of these. It's a medical bracelet. That way, if like EMTs ever had to be called, you have your name on it. You've got conditions listed. So that way they know these things. Like, okay, in Jason's case, he was a diabetic. They would know that type of thing. So everybody, if you can, get yourself signed up to get a medical alert bracelet and always carry it with you.
See, I never had a bracelet, but because I didn't live very far away, it was
right.
I didn't live far from where I worked. I can it's like I live on a very small peninsula that I could, walk the length and breadth of in a couple of hours. But, it's just like I live 10 minutes from where I walk, from where I work one way, and I live 10 minutes from where I get groceries the other way, so I never went far from home.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How was he when he kind of reconnected with us again with NerdTube, meeting some old people like myself and Shredder, and Ginger Greek? I mean, was he happy to get back with certain people again and
he was
that? But, yeah,
he was thrilled. The only issue was that it's like I know that you guys invited him to do a bunch of videos and stuff, and then he wouldn't show, and it was just because he couldn't remember. He couldn't remember when the times were. So it's like he was never avoiding you guys. He just
Oh yeah, we knew we knew. Yeah, we understood the situation. That sometimes he would just need to sleep.
Yeah.
And all of that, we totally get it. It was like I said, it was so nice reconnecting with so many people. Like things like Facebook.
Facebook has blown up. I announced it on Facebook because that was the easiest way to reach a whole bunch of people all at once. Because I just didn't have it in me to make a whole bunch of phone calls. I can't do it. So Facebook was like the easiest way to just go, all right, and I know everybody will be able to eventually get word, but and I have
Christine,
access to his Facebook, so.
So Christine mentioned earlier in our chat that we came across Dixie on the streaming platform. I think it was Blog TV, if that's correct, Christine.
Yeah, it probably was Blog TV because that's where most of us were back in the day.
Yep.
If it weren't on YouTube, because YouTube didn't have a live streaming service, so it was a case of if you wanted to go live, it was Blog TV. That's where pretty much all of us,
or Skype,
or Skype.
Yeah, but I mean, if you were doing like a live show, or you were wanted to talk to people live, like say, let's have a discussion with regard to theism or any kind of debate, because that's what a lot of the YouTube atheist community was back in the day. It was having debates online, so you would go into Blog TV for something like that, and that's where a lot of us did meet Dixie.
Yeah, Blog TV sounds vaguely familiar. Yeah, it just in my case it was always introversion, so it's like he always mentioned me, but I didn't really participate in a lot of stuff because I'm just community.
And the community kind of transitioned to Facebook after that, because the thing with the atheist YouTube community is that everything was said, and then there's not more we could say. Like we were drying out on videos, and people had lives to live, and at the same time, the infighting was quite massive as well.
In fairness, there were a lot of rifts that came about, and I think some of them were justified. Things like because there were certain people trying to move the entire community in one direction, like in some cases towards what we would now describe as being the alt-right. Again, a lot of the atheists, some of the bigger atheists, people like Pat Condell, people like Thunderfoot, they would start using language akin to groups like the British National Party, which obviously was not going to go down well with anybody who knew that kind of thing and despised it. People who would be like, likes of myself, Ginger Greek, D-Land and Cole, guys like that. That wasn't going to be something that, we were just going to go along with and not say anything about. And there were others who tried to take it another direction too. They wanted to do attach any fringe cause to it as well. And again, that alienated large chunks of the community. So I mean, there's a number of reasons why the community just drifted apart. And now you've got some people who are still close, tight-knit, friendly on platforms like Facebook, live streams like this, and it's I'm glad that Dixie was a part of that.
I think it was very
he was such a fun guy.
Yeah.
I think it was also very important that we even though we had that one thing in common of being atheists, it was also that it was fundamentally important that we had other things in common as well. Because I am friends with other people now, like Jose, for instance. Because we have, even though I don't believe you're an atheist, Jose, but even regardless whether you are or not, that we have so many other things in common. Video games, wrestling, Marvel, all of these things, and it's good to find those other things in common. So because everything just got so serious during those times, and it was good to have somebody like Dixie. He was a good laugh, by the way, to liven things up and to put smiles on our faces. But it just that community it ate itself up, got too serious, and people forgot what it's like to have fun. And I'm glad we've moved on from that, to tell you the truth. I mean, we are always going to be the people we are going to be regarding these issues, but we can enjoy ourselves as well. And I'm glad we started doing that.
Yeah, that's basically why why he towards the end he was so vehement about it's just like, okay, you guys, if you want to talk about news and current events, that's fine, but I'd rather not. So
yeah, I know. Yeah,
he wanted to talk about the fun stuff.
I know he did watch a couple of the streams because he left a couple of comments about the stuff I said in response to Zam with regard to the military.
Yeah, he just didn't want to like participate.
Yeah, he didn't. I know he didn't participate. I know.
Yeah.
I know he watched, but he didn't want to participate.
Yeah, for sure. It was Skype. Christine says Jason, Raven, Nero, a couple of other people we would talk just about every day. Then I got sick and left the internet for a couple of years. Yeah, we all do, Christine. Like just things got just a bit too serious, and people got a bit cheesed off with each other, and we couldn't stand the sight of each other and stuff like that. I'm sure I was very much like that with a lot of people. There are people within this community who I was big fans of, but I got to know them through Facebook, and I kind of realized, you're a bit of a dick. I'm not gonna bring up any of these people up. But in a way, I'm glad I got to know them a bit better, because now I don't want to know them at all. So, but people like Dixie wasn't that person, which was I'm very happy to say. So, but yeah,
So
I met William. By the way, I met William once a while back. But I'm sorry, Leia. What were you going to say?
Sorry, I was gonna say, like, because again I mentioned Diablo 2 and everything. And I can't remember who I left this blurb on. When I'm able to keep myself together a bit better on Twitch, I'm gonna stream Diablo 2 in his memory.
Yeah, we'll all be tuning into that.
Yeah, we'll be
I'll
there
let you
for
know.
that. Okay.
Okay, Jason Eastman, by the way, the Cheeto, is going to be joining us now. Hello, Jason.
Hey, I can only stop for a minute, but I just wanted to personally come in and say, Leah, I'm so sorry for your loss. I mean, Jason was I've been listening to the podcast. Like, I've been listening to you guys talk about stories about back in the group, and him trolling, and then him outing. I don't know it, like Thunderfoot, I think was his name, and
Yeah.
It just
Dawa Films.
Oh, okay,
Dawa.
sorry.
It was Dawa Films.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can just tell when somebody just like has that good intention, like no matter how much they change, even after the 2 strokes. Like, I work with people who do strokes, and I see that difference between people when they have a before and after they have a stroke. But you know what? You can always tell that base intention when, even through all that. And I could always tell that through Jason. He always just wanted to have a good time. He wanted to just be with friends, and he just wanted to, just, as I said, have a good time. So I always appreciated that about him, is that he was just, always willing to have a good time, willing to, as Zam would say, take the piss out of something, like, I don't know. It really was a gut check when I saw your message, and I was really pulling for him. And I know, as I said, I mean, I was listening when you first came on and talking about what happened with him, and just that, I mean, you're right. Like that, it's best to honor his wishes, and we can remember him, as he was. And, because, sometimes when people, bounce back, they just don't bounce back the same. And, I really feel for him. I feel for you too.
Well,
and his daughter, your guys' daughter.
Well, I mean, she's my stepdaughter, but
yes.
But yeah, it's I can tell this this short little story too.
You tell all the stories you want.
Yeah.
But like when he had his heart attack, and he hadn't woken up yet. They had to put a stent into his carotid artery. And they were waiting to see if he actually would wake up. They told me, we don't know how much of him is still there, because, it's like he had gone through 2 rounds of chest compressions and them having to bring him back. And they're like, most of the time when people have this happen, they do not come back. What he has gone through, people generally do not leave the hospital in any living capacity. They said, it's like he had a very small chance of survival, even if he had survived having the stent put in. And after he had woken up, and they said, it's like, well, he seems to be responding to stuff, but he's intubated, and he has a machine that's like, making his heart beat. He's on life support. And they're like, we'll let you talk to him for a few minutes, but being on life support is painful. So, when you're conscious, so we are going to knock him back out again. But I knew, it's like I knew exactly the question. I knew exactly what I needed to say to see if he was still in there. And I'm like, hey, hon, you might not be aware, but you're in the hospital. He kind of nods his head and he kind of goes, uh-huh. And I'm like, okay. I think you should know that you died twice, which means it's official. You have one up Jesus. And I'm standing on his left side, which was the unaffected side from the first stroke, so I knew he could move his hand better. And it's lying on the bed, and he can't speak. He knows he can't speak. He was cognizant enough of that. But after I said, "Hey, you one up Jesus," his fingers curl up like this.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, and I look at the nurses. I'm just like, he's still there.
Yeah.
So, but this time around, when they said what had happened and what the damage was, it's just like, okay, you can potentially do this thing that will allow his body to live, but it's just like I just knew that his mind wasn't going to be there anymore. So yeah, I'm just like, he's not coming back. I looked at the doctor, and it's just like, and I knew the moment that they brought the monitor out to the waiting room to explain everything to me. I'm like, I've seen this before. I've seen this before with other people when he was on the cardiac ward in 2019. I'm just like, I know exactly what this is, and I know exactly what they're going to tell me. And I looked at her. I'm just like, it's not good, is it? And she's just like, no. So, yeah. So I'm just like, it's let him go. And then they talked about the donor program. I'm like, okay, I know that this means that you're going to sustain his body, but as long as you can assure me that no part of him that is still alive is going to suffer, then and they're like, no, he's not gonna suffer. So yeah, they do have him on like fentanyl and stuff like that. So even if there were like some shred of him that was somehow aware at all, he's on cloud 9. So
well,
there's just some comments here from Christine Pamplin. I went to the convention in the United States and passed Thunderfoot in the hallway. As he saw me coming, he puffed out his chest and expected me to approach him and go, "Oh my goodness, it's Thunderfoot." And I just walked past him. I walked by him like he was a no one. Wonderful. Honestly, if I saw him today, I'd probably forget what he looked like. So Jason was hilarious, even when he trolled. Even his trolling wasn't malicious. No, like back then, like trolling was an art. Now it's just people being shitty. I'm sorry if I'm leaving a lot of messages. Oh yeah, I'm glad you are, Christine. It's been such a long time since we've communicated.
Christine, please do.
Yeah. So don't worry.
By the way,
about
Christine,
that.
you're more than welcome to jump in the stream if you want to share anything in camera.
Yeah.
If you want, Christine.
It's an open invitation to anybody who wants to hop on and say a few words about Dixie.
Yeah, because I'm actually going to have to step out now because I got my daughter's performance. But I just wanted to jump in here for a minute and just, send my condolences. And I mean, as they've all said here, like when you first came on, like, we're all here. Even if you want to reach out privately to any of us individually, you don't want to put it in the big group, group chat. I get it. Like, I'm sure I speak for anyone here who says, we're all ears, we're all fingers types, So, I mean, even if you want to call us or whatnot through Facebook, Ringer, whatever. I mean, like,
yeah,
it does suck that we're all so far away from one another, but the blessing of online is just that we can be there for one another, at least
we're
in
only
some capacity.
Away. Yeah.
And rally. We've got people from the UK, we've got people from the US, we've got people from other countries that are rallying, and so, but we're always here for you.
I mean, to tell you the truth, and I've had a lot of well-meaning family, say like, do you, it's like, I can swing by your apartment, I can swing by the hospital, and so on and so forth. I'm like, I have no problem with messages and so forth. And right now I have no problem with video chat, but the truth is I don't want people physically around me. It's like, It's like that's the introvert kicking in. It's just like, yeah, the only person
I
I
know
ever
exactly how you feel.
Yep,
Yep.
the only person I constantly wanted to be around was Jason. So,
Mm.
you know, I'm just like, yeah, I'm just like, yeah, parody time. You know, it's just like a good neighbor, stay over there. Just, yeah. So,
Yeah,
so,
I know what you mean.
yeah. So I appreciate it. You know, it's just like this is as close to contact as I would care to have. I actually have my grandmother in Facebook Messenger right now. It's just like, do you want to go out to lunch tomorrow? I'm just like, no, Grammy, I love you, but no, because tomorrow is when he's actually going to go to the operating theater and everything. So I'm just basically going to be haunting the hospital. So until his heart stops.
Well, we'll be thinking about you.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna jump off here, guys. Anyone else? I mean, yeah, definitely. Anyone else who wants to jump on here, definitely do that. I'm gonna miss him a lot. He was a great guy.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll catch you guys later.
Take care, Gio.
All right, later.
Love you guys.
Love you too, man.
Yeah, I just left Chris a couple of them. She's got like several bloody Facebook. No. That's not him. That's not her. Sorry. Yeah, she's one of the people with like several Facebook accounts. So I just had to like drop a couple of messages, and it's really weird because like just seeing some of the last messages I sent to them. God, I haven't spoken to these people in years. So
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
It's crazy how far technology's come along, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's weird in a way. Like I still have friends, and I still communicate with them, but I talk to you guys now way more than anybody else. My best mate, he lives in he lives in Andover, which is like 70 miles away from me now. I saw him a couple of weeks ago when he happened to come to London. But yeah, I don't see, as I've gotten older, this is my way of communicating now. I work outside for a living, so as soon as I finish work, the one thing I want to do is not stay outside any longer. I want to get back in my fucking house, and do all this fucking YouTube shit like we're doing today. Not in this particular, under these particular circumstances, of course, but in the sense of like some of the videos that we review and gaming and stuff like that. So these are things I enjoy doing now as I've gotten older.
Yeah, as you get older, you enjoy your peace and your solitude a lot more. You're like, all right, I enjoy the peace and quiet. I enjoy being home. I enjoy not having to people, because peopling without caffeine is hard.
Yeah,
Coffee.
for sure.
Yeah,
Coffee, because murder is wrong.
Yes.
I don't know how to do that.
It's a pretty easy process if you're trying to join the stream, it's a pretty easy process to do. Zam sends you the link, you put your name in, and
I don't know. I think it could be one of two things: being an introvert or joining the stream. I had no idea. So,
yeah, being
I was answering my grandmother. Yeah. So yeah, I have everybody and their cousin trying to reach out to me right now. So if it seems like my attention is like drifting in and out, it's
Oh, don't apologize.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Again, we can guess just how many people are probably reaching out to you individually.
Yeah, the fact that you reached out to us, I thank you for that, for keeping us informed. It made me realize how much we meant to you guys, and I very much appreciate that.
He it's like when he was hopping on a video and everything, he was absolutely thrilled. That was when he did participate in something, even like the Debatomania thing where he was talking about like the Joker versus, I can't remember who the other character was. It's just like it was something that he loved so much that it's like he didn't forget it. It stayed in his head. So I was always so thrilled when he did something that and it stayed with him. It stuck in his head. You know, and that was actually improving. You know, we had plans right up to the end. You know, we were, you know, it's like I was going to get a second computer tower. We were going to co-op play Baldur's Gate 3 together and stuff. So
Okay. Yeah, by the way, the cheetah just chimed in. It was Joker versus Green Goblin.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Yes, I'm sorry. I couldn't remember. I knew it was a Spider-Man villain. I just couldn't remember which one it was.
Yep.
Yeah, he's the closest to a Marvel Joker, I guess. So yeah. But that was a good debate. I'm glad you had some fun. You also did a debate, I mean, didn't you? I forgot what it was. Leia.
Sorry.
You did a debate Mania as well, didn't you?
Yeah, for the never-ending story, and I just
yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was against Cheeto, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was against Cheeto, and you know, it's just like, and it's, you know, Dixie kind of overestimated. You know, it's like I do love the movie, but he kind of oversold how much I love the movie. Because like I can agree with all the flaws in it. That's the thing. You know, it's like that's the hard thing was that, like, because Cheeto was bringing up all the flaws and like the never-ending story. I'm just like, I agree with that. I actually agree with that. I understand that. I get it.
I had to, like, I you know, we have to, when it comes to debate Mania, we can't help even the person we side with. We can't. And I really want to throw some stuff at you and say, look, say this, say that, say this, say that.
And you know, the thing that just made me just completely derail my train of thought was he brought up Falcor, and all I could think of is, you know, that scene where Atreyu was scratching his ears, because that scene just goes down in my head. It's just like, oh God, I'm 41 and I feel like I need an adult. like, yeah.
Christine, I've sent them to both your accounts, but I'll send it here now. Fuck it. If somebody else joins and we don't want them to join, I'll say no. But if it's you, I'll definitely say yes. So here it is in the chat. I think.
Yeah, it's in both the Twitch and YouTube chat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because, you know, like, just to go on a little tangent here, for me, when it comes to children's movies and TV shows, and movies especially, like the 80s were the best, because they didn't treat kids like kids back then with their kiddie stuff. You know, they made some dark fantasy, you know, real world shit, and I loved it. You know, with horror moments, death, and stuff like that. You know, and nowadays everything for kids is so bubblegum.
I love to you know, it's like I kind of love to, the thing I love to say about the never-ending story is just like, yes, the death of Artax, it made me the emotional cripple I am today.
God, that is one of the greatest kids films of all time. You know, the first never-ending. It's a shame the sequels are absolutely atrocious.
I know. Oh my God. Well, the second movie is a delight to watch just because of how it's bad. Because bad movies can be fun. Bad movies can be really fun, and the Neverending Story 2 is definitely one of those movies where I'm just like, I like watching this movie, not because I like it, but because it's just so horrible in all the right ways. Where it's just like, I could totally rip on this.
Yep.
Especially when he's like climbing the tower. I'm just like, dude, you have unlimited wishes. Are you really so uninspired that you can't say, I wish to be safely teleported up to that window? Poof. You know, instead of just like, make a step. Make another step. Make another step. You were brain dead before you got all your memories sucked out. What the hell?
You know, the fact that they recasted the character, like the main characters as well, kind of pissed me off. You know,
well, I mean, it was maybe like how long afterwards? You know,
no, I guess, but the thing is, I agree with you regarding like some films could be so bad that they're good, but if that's a film, if it's like an individual movie. Sometimes if it's a sequel to an already great film, I end up being disappointed. But I'm thinking to myself, you haven't matched or even come close to matching your predecessor, and that's how I felt with that, because it is a never-ending story. The book itself, when it
I haven't read the
ends,
book and I want to.
well, with the bit with Falcor coming into New York and stuff like that's actually halfway of the story, you know. And so yeah, there's more to the story, but it was unfortunate that the sequel never. I mean, a film like that, as good as it was, I mean, and as popular as it was, they should have brought out a sequel within 2 years. So oh, here she is finally. Dun dun dun. Christine, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you, sweetheart.
Thanks, guys. Lee, of course, my condolences.
Yeah.
I first met your husband years and years ago, like I said in the comments, and I'm sorry if I put a lot of them in, but I really wanted to participate in his memory.
Oh yeah.
And he was just like, even if he tried to be malicious, you knew deep down he wasn't. It was just perfection and trolling. It wasn't mean. It was funny. It was intelligence.
Yeah, he just liked to give everybody like those little tweaks, you know. Just
yeah. And something else. I trained as a nurse, became a nurse until my back injury and my car accident and spinal cord injury. And my very first year, we had donations that helped us, you know, learn and train, and they were very effective and very helpful. So even if not all his organs can be donated,
yeah,
there are parts of him that will help people learn.
Oh no, that was one of the other things that you know, it's like we do more than just donation, you know. It's like if you give us permission, you know, it's just like anything else that could be used for like medical science and research, you know, it's like we'll take that as well, you know. And I'm like, yes, you know, yes, 1,000 times yes. You know, I'm like, I mean, God, I'd have to imagine that you know, his brain would probably be like, you know, just an amazing case study because of like the damage and all the rerouting that it had to do. And, you know, me being able to say like, this is how he was able to function afterwards. And, you know, it's like, so I can tell them the baseline and everything. It's just like, okay, wow, we can, you know, we can figure out, we can do all of this. We can figure out, you know, more stuff potentially. And, you know, if it helps other people, you know, not have to go through what I'm going through right now, gladly.
I'm sorry, dear. But you're so right. And it means so much that the body or parts of the body are kept for a year. And the strangers that have been helped to learn from that donation attend a memorial after a year. That's how much we care and appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you again, and thank you to Jason.
Yeah, they like, you know, I've been seeing the nurses at the hospital, and even though, you know, like the part of the brain that was effectively Jason, even though it's gone, you know, it's just like they're still treating him with every amount of, you know, just like reverence and respect and so forth, you know. He's
right. And the fentanyl that he was on, I can guarantee he felt nothing.
Yeah.
No pain. None.
I mean, he's you know, like he's going to the operating theater tomorrow to have his organs taken, because they had to do their assessment, and they told me, you know, it's like this is going to take, you know, like at least 40, you know, 24 hours, maybe 48, to make sure that everything is, you know, to check out what could be donated and what can't. And they But I was assured, okay, we're gonna keep him on anything that would make things painless and stuff like that. So his body is still being sustained, but they're like, we're doing all of our tests. They're still doing tests like every hour, just in case something, just in case for whatever reason there's just some Hail Mary recovery and so forth. And it's like, I mean, I have every reason to believe that it's not going to happen, but it's like they're still checking like his pupil dilation and everything like every hour on the hour, and it's just like there's nothing responding beyond like what you get from the brainstem.
Right.
So all the reflexive stuff, not like anything with intention behind it. And it's weird. And it's weird watching it all happen, because it's just like I can watch his hand pull away, and it like, even I'm sitting there like, there's for lack of a better term, there's no soul there.
Yeah. And there's just so much that can be given from a tragedy. And like I said in the comments, my nephew's blind. He was denied oxygen at birth. And even though this won't cure something, just like it will help them understand better.
Yeah.
So that the next child that's born has a better chance. So thank you.
I hope someone gets his eyes. I really do. I hope someone gets his eyes, because that was, of all the organs that he had, of all the things that still worked like phenomenally well, he had amazing eyes.
Yeah. And even if they didn't, like you said, even with his brain, that helps. Even if something can't be donated, it helps in the study for future possible cures and treatments. So, sorry.
No, you're all right.
You're fine.
I can't believe how strong you are.
I've been hearing that a lot the last couple of days.
Sorry.
Oh, make no mistake, I definitely have my crying fits.
Oh, I'm not saying you're not grieving, not by a long shot. Okay.
Oh no, I didn't read it that way, but yeah, trust me, I have points where I'm definitely having absolute crying fits and so forth. I'm just not loud. So
you like, just join us whenever you can.
Oh, absolutely.
Do activities. Last thing you want to be is just be alone, remorsing consistently. Remorse is understandable, and I expect that. But we're always going to be there for you. Join us in whatever activities we can. And keep going on with your life, Leia. You're a young lady, and you got lots to live for sure. For sure.
I think he might have had a sense that something was going to happen, because like literally a week ago, I told her, because we had, all these things that we were hoping that we'd be able to do. It's just like he wanted to go to London, Sam, and hopefully like meet you in person.
Yeah, we spoke about that.
I have a friend that lives over in Poland, and it's just like, and this friend, was just like, I want to give you both like the grand tour of Poland, and and Jason was, being the history buff that he is like, what part? And he's just like, all parts. I have a car, and Jay, and like last week, he was like, hun, if I die, are you, what are you going to do? I'm just like, hun, it's like, even if you're not around, I'm still going to, when I'm able to travel to all these places and meet all of our friends in person if I can, as circumstances allow. And he's just like, good, I want you to keep going without me.
I know that he would have loved seeing. There's a cathedral just outside of Warsaw, and the interior, the chandeliers, everything is made from bones, basically.
Oh yeah, that would have been right up his alley.
Yeah. After the plague, probably the 11th century, one of the.
Oh, I've heard of the church. Yeah.
Yeah. So you should maybe go see that.
Yeah. I plan to do that. Honestly, yeah, this is going to get some laughs. We both wanted to go to Reykjavik, Iceland, because they have a dick museum.
That sounds like Dixie.
That's Dixie. Yeah,
I've been to Reykjavik 12 times and I had no idea there was a bloody dick. I would have gone there in a heartbeat. I would have gone there in a heartbeat. Oh my god!
They have a.
It was exceptionally cold when you were there, Sam.
yeah. I did go. I did 10 of those 12 times I went was Christmas. So yeah.
Christmas in Iceland.
Oh, I got family out there.
Okay. What are you thinking?
I got an uncle and a couple of cousins, and yeah, Christmas in Iceland absolutely rocks. It snows. And it doesn't snow in the UK, or not in my part of the UK, where Shredder is. It snows all the bloody time, but here in London, it doesn't. It doesn't snow in London, not enough. Maybe it might snow in southeast England, maybe for like 2 days a year. But you want snow during Christmas. That's the only time you want snow, and that's the only time you appreciate it. And in Iceland, snow. And we said Christmas is just so awesome. Christmas and New Year. And that's why I went all the time. I went all the time when I was younger. Go there as well. Plus, I was the only Asian guy there, so I was pulling pussy all the time. No offense to anyone. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. And I'm very lucky, by the way, to have met two. Sorry, Chris.
I was just gonna say snow is overrated. I'm from Canada, so.
I'm in
fair
Maine.
enough.
I'm in Maine. It's just like I love snow. I never really got along with heat very well. So yeah, when you said it, you spent Christmas in Iceland, I'm like, Jesus, that's like going to the Mojave Desert in summer.
I went twice in the summer. I went once in '89. I was only 11 years old, but the second time I went was in 2006. So I was still in my 20s. And I went clubbing, and I met a couple of girls, and we were talking, and they go, "Let's go to another nightclub." So we went to another nightclub, and then as we were walking between the clubs, it was 2 a.m, and the fucking sun's out. I felt like bloody. I felt like bloody Count Dracula. Like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? But yeah. And while it's the total opposite in the wintertime. In the wintertime, there's hardly any sun. The sun goes down about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Did you see the Northern Lights when you were there?
In the summer, I did see it, but it wasn't very prominent because I was in Iceland, and you can't in Reykjavik, and it's not that distinguished. Like it's faded to a degree, but you could see it, and it was for what it was. It was pretty cool. You know, I mean, just seeing you've seen these flickering things, but it was like very faded. It wasn't it felt like it was out of focus. That's the only way I could describe it. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
If you ever want to come to Canada and see the Northern Lights, you can stay at my house.
Okay. Oh, definitely.
I said leave.
Seeing the Northern Lights.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought you were talking to me. I'm sorry.
No, you too. You too.
Oh, thank you. Well, we have met before, Chris. I'm not sure if you remember.
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
I went to the UK.
Yeah. Yeah, me, you, D. Landon Cole, and the other kid whose name I've forgotten.
Nero,
yeah. So that was pretty cool. I remember we had lunch in that pub.
Yep. I actually visited quite a few people that I met online, and that was the wonderful part about meeting Jason and others. And the wonderful parts about the internet is that you got to meet people that you would never have met in your life, that wouldn't have come into your life, and Jason was one of those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had in 2010 we had the Atheist YouTube meetup where I got to meet Shredder and various other YouTubers and personalities like Scouse Casper and Got That Funk and Bossman and various other people. But it was pretty cool back then.
Yeah,
It was
that
good
same
times.
trip, I went to Bulgaria, the Netherlands, and the UK and Scotland to meet up with YouTubers that were atheists.
Actually, I did so I also in that group I met with Ginger Creek, but I did meet up with Felida the Geek, Tanya Hilton,
Yeah.
for a meetup, and it was honestly like it was one of the worst meetups I've ever. Oh, my bird's on my bloody phone. It was one of the worst meetups I've ever been to. I've never known. So like I am an introvert, but at the same time, if we're gonna go meet up and stuff, let's just get talking and stuff like that. Nobody wanted to communicate. It felt like this was like the sad cunt YouTube meetup or something like that. It didn't feel like the atheist YouTube meetup. It was absolutely bizarre. The only person who was outgoing with me was Tanya herself. Everybody else was in their shell, and it was a bit sad, but yeah. That was the last meetup I went to. It was awful.
I'm sure if Jason had gone, he would have been, really communicative. I mean, I can't say the word, but talkative.
Yeah. And I was able to, log in on my phone on the Facebook and everything, and show like the people that left like birthday wishes for him and everything, and all the messages that people were leaving me on. It's just like, get well soon, man. And and Jason was just like, wow, it's like, wow, everybody wants me to get better and everything. Everybody, it's just like, geez, I had quite a following. I'm just like, yeah, I know. So he did get to hear from everybody, and just I was able to have like that one last conversation with him before last night. But it's like he was beforehand. He was awake and he was alert, and the plan was going to be that they were going to move him to New England rehab and work through whatever deficits the third stroke had given him, and he was going to come home, and everybody was under the impression that he was going to recover quickly. I
was when you told us when you woke up. Yeah,
I still had a rotten feeling when I left the hospital that day. Yesterday. I'm just like, this feels like he's not going to leave the hospital soon. It's just like I just think that something else. It's like something has me feeling sick.
Yeah. You can't, because I went through the same thing with my dad where I saw him about a year before he passed, and we were like, he's not going to make it to his next birthday, and we all knew it, and it was like, okay, it's time to get prepared now. And it's one of those things where it's like you just have to get ready for it as much as you don't want to. You just have to know, like, okay, it's coming and it's inevitable, which is very unfortunate.
It's just like, and I did get to, it's like I did get to see him, and I did get to talk to him and everything. And, and it was so funny because like, I wasn't feeling great yesterday morning. So I'm just like, maybe I'll see him tomorrow. But, I'm just like, no, it feels really important. I should be seeing him every single day, even if I have to like haul myself out of bed, and really not want to shamble over to the hospital. It's like, I really should. And I am beyond glad that I did, because I got to have that last conversation with him.
Yeah.
My last words to him actually were, "I love you."
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I kind of knew with my mom when she was going through a chemotherapy. At one particular point, whilst going through a therapy, she had to have an emergency operation, and I knew that was it. To tell you the truth, I knew Mum whatever came from the operation, my mum wasn't coming back, and even though she survived the operation, she was in a coma, and after that, there was no coming back from that. And there's moments, we all go through them in our lives at some particular point. That song from REM always hits me. Everybody hurts at some time. And those moments will come to us all, and they'll come to us more than once as well. And Sorry, I don't know where I'm going with this. I apologize.
Well, if we didn't experience pain, we couldn't really appreciate happiness, really.
Yeah.
There was I'm not sure if you ever saw a show called Wonder Vision, but Vision himself, the character, said this great line, and he goes, "What is grief if not love persevering?" And I thought that was such an amazing line, and it's so true. We only feel it because we love that person. And I thought I was going to lose my dad. Recently, my dad was in hospital, and I was apart from one day, I was in hospital for like 2 weeks. I was in hospital every day to see my dad, and I thought he was a goner. Fortunately, he's still with us, and he's out of hospital now. And he's kind of back to his old self again. He's forgetful, but that's expected at 85.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't ready to lose. I've already lost my mom. I wasn't ready to lose my dad. So I'm glad he's still with us. So yeah.
No, I was happy about that too. It's just, I'm like, because I know that you said that. It's like you're pretty well your dad's caretaker and everything. So
I'm his carer. Yeah, I take care of his needs. And the funny thing is, we actually ordered a care. The NHS, they give us a carer, and for free for 6 weeks. And my dad fucking hated it, man. My dad fucking hated it. Like, he didn't want a carer. If what he needed was me, coming along now and again, taking care of his needs. It's hard though,
Oh yeah.
Prior to my dad going to hospital, at one particular point, I had to try and carry him up the stairs. And then I realized this is just not normal. I need to call an ambulance. And it was crazy. Yeah. Crazy times.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a few points over the years where I've had to call an ambulance for Jason. And, it's, and at first he would like always fight with me on it. Like 2021, when he ended up getting COVID and it didn't play nice with his diabetes, that was one of the only times where, I'm just like, hun, I think I'm in over my head here. I need to call an ambulance. And he's just like barely conscious in the hallways, just like, because he started to drop, and I actually, it was like I was standing right there, so I caught him, and I lowered him down to the floor, and I'm just like, hun, this is bad. It's like, I don't think you can come back from this without extra help. And he's just like, okay. And I'm just like, I need to call an ambulance. He's like, all right. And I'm just like, he's not even arguing with me. This is horrible.
Yeah.
And then the third stroke, it was the same deal. I'm like, hun, because sometimes if he wakes up from a sound sleep, he'll be kind of out of it, and it gives me sort of a false positive for stroke symptoms. So I spent a minute or two, I'm just like, hun, is this you not being awake, or is this? And he's just like, oh no. And I'm just like, this is another stroke. This is diabetic ketoacidosis, or this is another stroke, And I'm just like, I'm calling the ambulance. He's just like, okay. I'm just like, he's not arguing with me again. Yeah, this is the right call. But
yeah, because a lot of times with men, not to be sexist, but they fight getting help when they're ill.
Oh, I do too. So I recognize that trait because I recognize it in myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Likewise, I totally agree. I try to wait it off, and hopefully things will get better. And the same with my dad as well. He never wanted me to call an ambulance for him when I took him to hospital. You're absolutely right, Chris. Us guys, we try to shake it off.
Unless it's a cold, then your babies.
Man flu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nerdverse says here, I'm a donor. Most of my organs are less than ideal, but I hope it helps someone. Yeah, for sure.
Well, like the donor people told me, it's like even if it can't go to another person, it can potentially be used in medical research because it's like if you have something that has gone awry, it can actually give it can give medical research more information on like, oh, this is how this manifests. And I have no doubt, I'd be surprised if his heart doesn't go to medical research because his carotid arteries were starting to get clots for what was apparently a very long time. And as it turns out, your heart will actually start to grow more arteries in an effort to get more blood flow. And his, and I actually got to see the angiogram that they did when they were putting the stent in and everything, and they were busting up the clot that had caused the heart attack. And the doctor was just like, this is us putting the dye in. It's like, you see all these other little lines that are going off. These are arteries that aren't normally there. This was his heart's last ditch effort to get enough blood. And as you can see, it's like, and all these different arteries were just spidering off of his carotid arteries. And I'm like, Jesus, I didn't know that hearts could spawn more arteries. And two, I'm just like, that's way more than people normally have. And they're like, he has auxiliary arteries spreading out like a hand across his heart, trying to give it more blood. This has been going on for a very long time.
Wow.
It's quite amazing to see. I was in a couple operating theaters where they were doing heart surgeries. And when you see that, you're in awe of the human body.
Oh yeah.
And what it does. Yeah. And you're right when you say, like, we can look at all the average brains we want.
Yeah.
But when you get an atypical situation, it's, no offense, but it's better.
No, I know. That's why I said I have, I'm just like,
oh yeah,
anything that he has could be used in research. I'm just like, I mean, a brain that it took 4 strokes to kill it.
Yeah, they need to study that because there's going to be books about it. I think you definitely need to tell his story. I really do.
It took 4 strokes to finally kill the part of the brain that's essentially you as a person. And just like, and before that, I mean, he was, your brain rewires itself like to an amazing degree. I mean, even, it's like, and they'll tell you in like rehabilitation, it's just like what you don't get back within a year is generally what you're not going to get back. But that with him, it was wrong. He kept getting stuff back. He kept growing. I mean, I knew after the heart attack he wasn't going to work again, but like he kept improving. I was able to have like full-blown conversations with him, and his thought loops, were increasing from, like 5 minutes, when he was first in the hospital to like, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, he'd remember stuff for a couple of hours. Sometimes stuff would completely stick. And, I'm like, I'm watching his brain learn how to rewire. And I sincerely think that being a gamer actually helped with that, because he loved to play stuff like Rust. And, when you play a sandbox game that's a base builder, you have to remember where your base is. You have to remember where the resources are. You can't walk around just randomly. Well, I mean, you can, but you're not going to have fun doing it. Like, he had to remember where all of his stuff was. And if he couldn't, he had to figure out ways to adapt to make it so that he could find his way back to his base and stuff. And
absolutely right.
And he did it. He found ways to make it stick in his head.
That's actually really cool.
That's amazing.
So, so I was always encouraging him and goading him, it's just like, "Hun, if you get tired of Rust, play another thing," and he'd go for, Dead by Daylight because, or he'd play Conan Exiles or, Red Dead Redemption 2, all these different games. And, he's just like, "Oh, this is," and at first it was frustrating because he's just like, "What the fuck was I doing?" And then, it's like, and then he figure out how to like pull up the quest list or whatnot. He's just like, "Oh, okay, all right," and and then he'd forget how to pull up the quest list, and then he'd remember it again. And and I'm like, I'm going to help you as little as possible because it's like I'll give you a hint.
Yeah.
Once in a while, it's just like, Dead by Daylight is just like, "Fuck, how do I drop people?" Because he didn't want someone on his shoulder to hang up anymore. It's like, "Ah, damn it, how do I drop people?" I can't remember what the key is now, but I'm just like, look it up on Google on my phone. I'm just like, press this. It's like, oh, thanks, Ron.
And it's like you're saying, the brain is like a muscle. The more you use it, right? You're absolutely right. And I'm glad that he could do that and that the games helped him.
They did. And, it's just like that was also, the, forums like this and so forth also helped him like reach out into the world when, it was like he really had rather limited mobility and he just didn't have the stamina to really, go out and walk around anymore. I had it in the works that I was going to get like an ultralight wheelchair that I could just fold up and I'd just be like, "Okay, let's push you around." I push cartloads of furniture that are way heavier than you, so you'll be no problem.
Well,
I never knew
life.
I've worked a job for 16 years that trained me just for this occasion. It's just like, yeah.
Sorry, I was just gonna say that's what saved my life. I broke my back, and when the bipolar developed, and I had severe depression, getting on the internet, like you said, reaching out to people when I couldn't get out of the house. I didn't want to die anymore. It saved me,
Yeah. So
just a couple of comments here.
Yeah.
Cousin Cheetah saying, I was thinking of that line. Obviously, he's going on about what's grief if not love persevering. Yeah, for sure. And Mr. System, our resident Irish moderator, hello to you, mate. Just so you know, a colleague of ours passed away. We're here with some friends as well as his spouse in Leia, and we're just talking about the good times. So,
I just
yeah.
So it's like at first I was thinking that I wouldn't be able to be on this call, but it's like I saw it going. I'm just like, okay, you know what? I mean, everybody knows that he was my husband, and if I fall apart on camera, it's understandable why. It's just like, okay, screw it. It's like I'll show up. I'll show up. It's like I want to. It's like I want to share the how we met story. I want to share, the I tested him and he was still in there story. It's just it does feel good to reminisce, even if it hurts mightily.
Yeah.
It's good to let the grief out as well and share it with all of us. We're all in your camp right now. And we can do this again. I'm sure we will. So whenever you want to talk to us, you're in our Facebook group, our Nurture Facebook group. So we're always there to help and listen, if we can. It's like you've got a long road beginning right now, Leia, and it will get easier with time, and it will, and it'll get better with as long as you have people like us in your lives. It helps. Doing things like this helps, and I want to keep helping as much as I can. I'm sure.
Are you going to be on tonight with Raven?
I personally won't be because I have to. Because Raven, we spoke about this earlier, but her time will be like 2:00 in the morning my time, and and I have work at 9:30 in the morning my time. I need to get to bed.
Ooh.
You know,
That's brutal.
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, she was in the chat earlier. She was with us, and she contributed in that particular aspect. And she introduced me to people like Dixie, to a lot of people actually. When she was Dev Shell too.
That's how I met Jason. Was through Raven. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, I just wish our time zones went the way they were, or I would happily join. Yeah. So, are you going to be on that one as well, Chris?
Oh, me? Yeah, I'm gonna try to. Yeah.
Yeah, we encourage anybody who is watching this. It'll still be up at that time to check out that stream, because I'm sure Raven's going to have some stories.
If you get a chance, join them as well. You know, these are all people who knew your husband so well and influenced their lives, and you know, in a way that obviously they want to pay tribute to him.
If I'm home, I will. If I'm not home, I'm at the hospital, and I probably won't. But you know, and it's not me like picking favorites or anything like that. It's you know, I just you know, it's like I was able to hop on this call. I had it in myself to hop on this call, but I think this might be the only one for a little bit.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You know, no offense, Raven. Just, you know, it's like there's going to be stuff happening at the hospital between now and tomorrow, and I want to be present for it.
No one is in no way going to judge you for when and where you decide to, you know, be at any given time. No way. So don't even let that seep into your mind, okay?
Just take heart that people are paying tribute to your husband right now. He obviously left a lasting impression to so many people that they want to pay their respects, and just take heart in that. That is a good thing.
I have a coworker that's been working at the hotel for a few months. She's never met him. She only knows through me that he's also another huge nerd, and she heard that he was in the hospital. So her and her girlfriend, they made get well cards, and then you know, this was on the 24th of October. You know, I'm just like, oh, it's also his birthday tomorrow, and you know, so she's just like, oh, hand him back. You know, she wrote happy birthday on the. So the girl, you know, it's like my coworker's girlfriend folded up a little origami heart for him that, you know, that was the birthday card. And my coworker is actually very good at drawing, and she drew, I know I'm going to say the name wrong, but Asterion, the vampire from Baldur's Gate 3, because she heard that he had gotten into that game. So, and she's like, in my defense, that's the only character I'm actually familiar with, but I know that he said that he likes Baldur's Gate 3, so I drew Asterion for him. But in my case, she knows I like Studio Ghibli films, so she drew Sophie for me from Howl's Moving Castle. So he has a little drawing with Asterion and Sophie, and I'm like, aw. So he was able to see it that, you know, it's like I was able to go in like that night, the night before his birthday, and I'm just like, oh, hey, you know, it's like, you know, my coworker actually, you know, she wanted you to have this card, and he's just like, oh, that's so nice, you know, and he was oohing and awing over it, and even like the hospital staff, you know, it's just like they love the drawing so much that they took a magnet and they actually like stuck it up on a magnetic wall that they had there. He said, you know, it's just like, half the people here are nerds. Everybody knew who those characters were. I'm just like, aw. and he had his birthday, and the nursing staff, they're like, don't worry about the fact that this is all sugar. They actually brought him like a little mini cake, just a little itty bitty cake. And he's just like, "Hun, I want you to eat this because I don't like what sugar does to me." I'm just like, "Oh," I'm like, "Hun, it's your birthday." And the staff here are actually, encouraging this one little bit of naughtiness. So I'll tell you what, I'll meet you halfway. I'll eat half of your cake and you can eat the other half. he's just like, okay, but I really wanted you to have the whole thing. I'm just like, well, I want you to have at least some of it.
Yeah.
Because it was a vanilla cake and that's actually his favorite. So so we made it and then the last night shenanigans ensued. So so the next day he died. So he did get to live to see 45.
Yeah, his birthday was only a couple of days ago, wasn't it?
It was the 25th.
Yeah.
20. Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, he got brain death on the 26th in the evening.
Oh.
I was literally walking home when the doctor called me. It's just like, is this Miss Leah? Is this you? I'm just like, yeah. Your husband took a sudden downturn. You really might want to get over here. And they explained everything to me. I'm like, okay, I'm on Congress Street right now. I'm like a 20-minute walk from there. I will be there. And they're just like, explain that it's an emergency, because this was like 10 p.m. So this is like after visiting hours. And it's like, go to the security desk, explain what the situation is, tell him, tell the security guard that he's in this room, and just they'll let you up, So yeah, they didn't even question it, but yeah. But
Good.
just so I get there within visiting hours, I do actually have to leave pretty soon. So I get there before 8:00 because it starts to get a little complicated. They won't prevent me; it just takes longer.
Yeah,
I understand. Well, I think we're going to end the stream now, fellas.
Yeah.
I think it's a good time to culminate. Christine, first of all, it was really good to see you again. It's been such a long time. It was just so nice bumping into you, even under unfortunate circumstances, but nevertheless, lovely seeing you again. Leia, my heart goes out to you, sweetheart. We're here, us guys here at NerdTube, we're always going to be there for you in any capacity, and please join us for everything and everything to keep your mind off things and just to keep going in life, wherever we can. All right, fellas. I think we'll talk about other stuff another day, I guess.
Yeah, we'll do it next week.
No problem.
Yeah, my husband kind of dominated the entire call.
No, he had every right to, and I'm glad that this is his show. This is his tribute show, and I'm
happy I had that wedding picture to be in the background.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lovely photograph.
I was looking like all through my phone because it's like we wanted to take pictures of like where we went and what we saw, but we really didn't have any interest in taking pictures of each other. So I don't have a lot of pictures of them, and that sounds like a regret, but it really isn't. It's like we wanted to remember what we were doing. It's just like we didn't want to like constantly have a camera held up and just like hey, smile, click. Hey, smile, click. And sorry, we just both felt that diminished the experience of being wherever we were. So
you miss what you're actually doing.
Yeah.
To pause for a photo and when you could be enjoying the activity, right?
Yeah.
Zam, I'm gonna go. Let's do this under better circumstances.
Again, my condolences, and please stay strong. All right. My love to you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Christine.
And to everyone else out there in YouTube land, thank you very much for joining us. And thank you very much for joining this particular show. It's been tough, but I'm really happy to talk about my friend, and I hope to keep talking about him in the upcoming days, months, years. He won't be forgotten. Dixie, Shredder, and most importantly to you, Leia, thank you very much. Anything you'd like to say before we head off?
No, I think I've said everything that I can think of for now. Beyond Kitty.
Yep. Kitty's here in the background. Hi, Kitty.
The only thing I would like to say, other than we'll miss you, Dixie, and again, our condolences definitely go out to you, Leah. But I would encourage anybody watching the stream who isn't registered to sign up to be an organ donor.
Yeah, get signed up to be an organ donor. Definitely get a medical bracelet. Talk to your families and friends. Seriously, please.
And again, even if you are convinced that your organs cannot go to help another person who's in dire straits, what you donate can still potentially go towards learning about, some of these horrendous conditions that take people away too soon. So donate regardless of whether or not it'll go to save a life, because it can still save lives indirectly.
Mm-hmm.
Live on in others. So for sure. Jose?
Yeah, we're going to miss Dixie, and my heart goes out to you, Leah. If you need anything, I'm only a message away. If you need any of us, we're only one message away. We will always be here for you if you need to talk. Thank you, Dixie, for everything. We're going to miss you.
Yeah. Okay. And I would like to say that he was somebody who made me learn things in my life that I never thought I would need. That I never thought I would know. Not necessarily the most important things, but definitely he taught me some things, and that's very cool.
Well, you've even learned things after he's dead. I mean, you're now going to visit the Dick Museum next time you go to Iceland.
Yeah, I thought something like the Dick Museum would be in Holland, but okay, fair enough. It's in Iceland. I'm going to go there, and I'm going to take a couple of my cousin's kids there who are quite conservative, just to take them there. You know what I mean? Just to
now that's something you need to document.
Yeah,
I'm going to make sure I film it.
Have pictures taken.
I'm going to take them there. I'm going to film it because they're like they're like manly man. Manly man.
Keep it there for in perpetuity.
Yeah. So I'm going to take them there and go. Yeah, let's go to the Dick Museum. You manly man. So, yeah. So they're like professional fighters and stuff like that. So, all right. Amateur fighters, but nevertheless, still hard asses. All right. Okay. This has been
very somber edition.
A very somber edition of a Nerd Tube podcast dedicated to our friend Jason Dixie Comic Beasley. Please like, share, subscribe to Nerd Tube, the greatest YouTube channel you've never heard of, and pay your respects and leave any messages you can and condolences for our good friend, especially to Leah as well, who's going through these hard times. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day. Take care, everyone. Peace out. Live long and prosper.